you're worried about school placements for your child with SEND, this section is really important because the government plans to restrict school choice, extend the legal reasons that local authorities can refuse to name a school, and even stop tribunals from naming a school. These changes would disproportionately affect children with the most severe and costly needs. Currently, parents can ask local authorities to consult with any suitable school, but that doesn't mean they'll get it. Schools can say they can't meet need, and local authorities can already refuse placements for legal reasons like suitability or it being an inefficient use of resources. But under the proposed system, parents would instead be given a list of settings that can meet the child or young person's needs. So instead of identifying a child's individual needs and then consulting schools about whether they can meet them, the system decides in advance which settings can deliver for which types of need, and those become your options. The consultation also says that some specialist provision packages, which will go into EHCPs, will be for mainstream only. Now, some families want mainstream for their child, and the right to naming a mainstream will be protected. But there is a significant move towards categorising children by type of need and restricting some to mainstream pathways regardless of their individual profile. Some children, this may work well, but for others, complex needs mean what works for one child in a category may be completely unsuitable for another, and simply being physically present on a mainstream site is not the same as inclusion. The consultation also says placement decisions should place greater emphasis on value for money, fairness, and the needs of all children in an area. Now, local authorities can already refuse placements if there is a cheaper option that can meet needs. So what does extending these exemptions actually mean? Because realistically, this is likely to affect children with the highest and most expensive needs the most. They say they'll have another route for a few hundred of the most severely disabled children in the country, but the rest will be reliant on these packages. Reforms also propose that tribunals would no longer directly name a setting, and that if a tribunal disagrees with a placement decision, it would instead refer the matter back to the local authority who made that decision. That is a major shift, and it feels designed to just tackle the fact that tribunals almost always agree with parents because they properly apply the law and parents know what will work for their child. And this is just one of several fundamental changes to appeal rights that I'll cover in a separate video. So this section isn't really just about school choice, it's yet another part of a move towards a more standardised system with less flexibility for children whose needs don't always fit neatly into predefined pathways. So for question 26, you could say placement decisions must remain based on individual suitability, not just category of need. Parents should retain the ability to request specific schools, and cost should not outweigh whether a setting can genuinely meet need. Question 27 asks what information parents need to choose a school, and this is a legitimate question as we struggle with this now, don't we? So parents need detailed, realistic information about staffing, therapies, communication support, sensory environments, exclusions, outcomes. But guidance should support parental choice, not restrict it to a pre-approved list. Parents know their children and what setting is needed, and in almost every case they're also right in law, and that's why parents succeed at almost every tribunal. Next, we'll look at alternative provision. There are major concerns there. Follow along for when that gets posted, or there's a YouTube playlist that has the full series of videos so you can watch them in order while you fill in the form.